any longer. We will never give up. We will never concede. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. But go home and go home in peace. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. You do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
What's up, everybody? Y'all blowing me up a little bit in the chat. Patriot Rooster, Armed Archangel, Gerald B, Riddle Girl, the whole gang's here. Right on. Sorry, I was a little bit late hitting the button. Got involved in doing something with the wife. Not anything dirty. I mean, it could have been, but no. How is everybody's Wednesday going? Yes, thank you, Gerald, reminding me this weekend is daylight savings time. I do not observe daylight savings time, at least not where I live currently. It's not that I don't believe, well, I actually don't believe in it, but at the same time, I will agree to set my clock forward and backward if I'm in a place that does that, just because pick your battles. But I like having the conversation about daylight savings time. It was supposed to be a temporary thing, I believe, for World War II, and it just kind of stuck around. I'm doing pretty good. It was funny. So we went to Riddle's place of employment, which she never goes to unless she needs something. And so she had to get a new laptop, as she already mentioned in chat. So on the way there, we're like, hey, let's get Dutch Bros. Why not? Have something to drink along the way. And if you didn't know, it's a lot like Starbucks. So it's kids running it. It's mostly super woke. But on the, what would you call it? Those posts so that you don't run into the building, you know, the buffer for the building. Somebody had stuck a Let's Go Brandon sticker on that, and it was still up. It looked like it had been up for a few days at least. It wasn't a brand new sticker. I was pretty impressed and happy about that. That was funny. Thought that was hilarious. Doing great. Here today, when I was out deer hunting, I got to see a black bear. That is cool. That is cool. How do you hunt, Gerald? Are you walking around? Do you have a deer blind? Or you have a stand? I don't know a lot about hunting. Never went on like a deer hunt. I'd love to, but at the same time, I don't want to go by myself. You know what I mean? I'd want to go with somebody who's done it before, just because I don't think it's stupid shit, you know, like little things like deer urine. Not a fan of that. Is there a way of hunting deer without sprinkling deer piss all over myself? Although I don't care, really, to be honest. Let's see. All right, let's get to it. By the way, I still have not heard back from YouTube on the main channel. Not expecting anything good, but hopeful. As far as my own personal drama with other YouTubers is concerned, I've already addressed that. I don't plan on addressing it anymore. But if anybody has a problem with me, hit me up. We'll have a get together and talk it out. Talk it out. All right. Senate Republicans vow to challenge, nullify Biden's mandate. Senate Republicans announced this week they plan to use the Congressional Review Act to challenge and nullify President Biden's employer sniffle mandate, Biden's administration is expected this week to formally roll out its new ruling requiring employers with more than 100 employees to mandate either a shot or weekly testing. Businesses that don't comply could face stiff fines. So that wasn't already in place, but it's going to be. When is this going to hit? This week. Okay. However, 40 Senate Republicans, led by Mike Braun of Indiana, plan to force the Senate to vote on a resolution disapproving of the rule. The resolution would have to pass both chambers of Congress and be signed by Biden. So it ain't happening, which means it will fall short. But Republicans see it as the resolution as an opportunity to put pressure on the vulnerable Democrats who are up for re-election in 2022. So you're still going to have the mandate go through, but I guess they'll have eggs on their face. Today, we are one step closer to protecting the liberties of millions of Americans in the private sector workforce. Not really. If it doesn't pass, then the only thing you're going to do is hope to take more seats next election cycle. Meanwhile, being 2021, you've got about 2 more years before, maybe a year and a half, before you could do anything about it. And at that point, some people will probably be unemployed for over a year. Every congressperson who cares about civil liberties must oppose Biden's unconstitutional overreach. We want to put this pandemic behind us, but the decision to give everybody a shot is an individual choice and should not be mandated. Federal government does not have the constitutional or statutory authority to take this action, he said, and to make it clear, we will be exercising our congressional authority to overturn this rule with Congressional Review Act resolution. Other Republicans support the measure include these people. See if yours is listed here. I don't know, can I? There we go. Maybe I can just... That's much better. I should have done that years ago. Okay. A Republican aide told Fox News that the rest of the Senate GOP caucus, which includes Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and more moderate Republicans like Romney, moderate, that's what Romney is, okay, are waiting for Biden to formally unveil the rule before signing the resolution. They don't want to have eggs on their face. The aide noted there is no Republican opposition to the resolution. It's good. It's not going anywhere. Doing great here. Okay. Yeah. You got to hunt down a new laptop. Yep. Oh, there we go. What's up, OMG? Yeah, I heard. We got a little bit of news on that. Let me see. Where is that? I know, I think Guns and Gadgets talks about it. He is the best president. We should have a President Biden fan club. Maybe that's what I should name my next channel, one of my channels, Riddle.
Okay.
I think that would be Let's Go Brandon. No, there's probably a ton of those already. But we should do like something to that. All right. I skipped over a lot of the bullshit. Let's watch it. He made more Republicans than any president in history. Has he outsold Obama in guns yet? I know last year was like the most guns ever sold. I'd be surprised. I'd like to know what the numbers are on that. Oops. You guys aren't hearing that. Why not? Huh. Or did you hear that?
Go ahead and... No, I'm not hearing it.
I'm sorry, Riddle?
Not hearing it.
Yeah, that is strange. What did I do to the machine? I didn't think I did anything to it. All right. Give me a second.
You got the desktop audio on?
Yeah, it's on. It's just not... You guys aren't hearing it. Which means the desktop audio is considered something else right now. So give me a couple seconds while I figure that out. Sorry, guys. All right, audio. Desktop audio. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
But we'll start with the prosecution. So the prosecution is
Rittenhouse.
Kenosha County Assistant District Attorney. I forget his name, and I didn't write it down because I'm a dope. But anyway, I'll have it next time. He started out saying that Kyle Rittenhouse was the aggressor that night in Kenosha. He said that Kyle showed up in Kenosha, didn't live there, and
He worked there.
that he's drawn to chaos.
Yeah, I
However,
know.
everything you can.
I understand that. Like, I really don't have a problem. I'll address it a little bit. Really don't have a problem with law enforcement. I have my opinion. Doesn't mean he's not a great guy. But at the end of the day, we're all people. And, yeah. Some people take it better than others.
Find online about Kyle and his personality and the type of person he is says the opposite. But again, that's what they do. He's an attorney. What he didn't say is, if Kyle wasn't supposed to be there, what about all the rioters, looters, and arsonists? Maybe they were supposed to be there.
Yeah, it was kind of
Kyle
funny
lives
how,
in
you know,
Ohio,
Kyle wasn't
Illinois,
supposed to be there, but everybody
20
else
miles
wasn't from around there
Kenosha.
either, wasn't
I
they?
live 20 miles, 16 miles from Worcester, Massachusetts, second biggest city in all of New England, and I go there daily for a various amount of things. So it's not unheard of for somebody to drive 20 miles to go to a city, and to say that he doesn't belong there. Well, he's an American citizen. The whole country is where he belongs. He can go anywhere. We have that freedom.
Right.
But yeah, they're supposed to make him look terrible. That's their job. So that was the basic crux of the opening argument for the district attorney from Kenosha County. But Kyle, if you remember in the beginning, I've done multiple videos on this case, and get rid of this notification. Kyle was there to, in his own words, defend private property and to render first aid if anybody should need it. And he was even thanked by the local police department for being there, and that's on video, so it's going to be really, really hard to make him look horrible.
So, yeah. I've had friends before that are police officers. All right? It's some people, you know, I explain it, and some people are like, okay, well, your opinion is your opinion, and there you go. I mean, they weren't close friends. But I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, right? I actually didn't even know the guy that we were talking about yesterday was a police officer. I had no idea. I don't believe he had said it. Nobody had told me that he was a police officer, and I would have still said the same damn thing if I had known he was a police officer. Now, I would have been more aware of the fact that, you know, I could possibly be seen as attacking him personally, but I didn't know he was. So we were having conversations about what was going on in the news at the time, and instead of saying anything or coming on the muster and debating on there, he decided to do handle it how he handled it. So that is how it is. But no, I don't have a problem with anybody at first. I always allow them to show me what kind of person they are before I make assumptions on stuff like that. If that makes any sense.
But they're gonna try. That's their goal, is to make him look like he's terrible. I'm gonna switch hands real quick. Kyle's the defense, Kyle's side. Attorney Mark Richards was doing the talking, and he said that Kyle was justified to open fire, fearing that the men he shot were going to harm him. And there's numerous videos, multiple angles that show literally just that. Let me say this: why Kyle is behind bars, and someone
he's out on bail right now.
Put it out there. Alec Baldwin is free to go shopping in Vermont and enjoy.
Is there new
with his wife? To try
is there new stuff on Alec Baldwin?
It just doesn't make sense. But whatever. I digress. Kyle's attorney said that he acted in self-defense and his actions were reasonable under the circumstances as they existed. And the reasonableness is a huge thing in this trial, will be a huge thing in this trial, because self-defense, your actions have to be reasonable based off of what you are encountered with. And we know that Kyle was kicked in the head. That can be a dangerous weapon. Shod foot is called in Massachusetts and many other states as well. You can kill somebody by kicking them in the head. He was also swung at in the head area with a skateboard. And that was, at that point, a deadly weapon. You get hit in the head with a skateboard, especially the metal trucks. You can die from that stuff. And then another person approached him with a gun, with a pistol. That's a deadly weapon, right? So was it reasonable for him to believe that them swinging this item at my head could possibly severely injure me, cause grave bodily injury or death? Yes, that's reasonable. And that's what they're going to have to prove in this case. So Kyle's been charged with 3 different counts, and he's facing life in prison. Reckless homicide.
It's funny because it should be an open and shut case. It should. But nowadays, I don't think the facts matter. The law, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, I believe the law is clearly, at least on the side of Rittenhouse, and he should be free of all charges, like acquitted. But in today's society, I don't think it really matters if you're innocent to the law standards, because it is a trial by the media more than trial by justice and law and all that. Just saying, as a matter of fact, I haven't met him, so I don't know, but I haven't seen anything bad from him. He seems kind of, I don't know, well off. he's got a good thing going. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, Alec. Yeah, I saw that. I have that story up, Riddle, about the round might be implanted. But if he's talking about how Alex Baldwin is still free, then there might be some evidence that maybe Alec Baldwin helped plant the bullet or something. And that's what I originally, when I first heard about Alec Baldwin and that whole shooting thing, I was thinking, how convenient, right? You're like, oh, it's an accident. But how great. I mean, if you want to take somebody out, that's a way of doing it. I shared a story. Yeah, I know. I got it. Thanks, Riddle.
Intentional homicide, and attempted intentional homicide. Other things that came out from the defense, Kyle was under no obligation to retreat from these dudes, but he did it anyway because he wanted to avoid confrontation. And again, we all know, we've seen the videos, so we know. For me personally, I'm not part of that clan that says Kyle shouldn't have been there. He can go anywhere he wants. If it's okay for the rioters, looters, and arsonists to get bussed in from across the country to burn cities down, Kyle can go there to defend property and to render aid. So you're either, in this case, guys and gals, I feel strongly on this one, you're either pro-Second Amendment or you're not. This is a clear-cut case in my eyes. Now, I'm no better than anybody else, but I did this business for 24 years. This is in my eyes, in my professional opinion, don't care if my chief don't want to hear this, this is a clear-cut case of self-defense. Doesn't matter if you use an AR-15, an AK-47, a Glock 9mm, a shoe, anything, a letter opener. He was clearly justified in defending his own life, and if he didn't, he would not be with us today. Period. Point blank. You don't have to think the same way I do. I'd love to hear any other
All right, so that's the update on that. Here's my issue. Look at George Floyd case. The cop was found innocent. They would have torn the city to pieces. Then you have the Patriot side, and we allow the commies to railroad us, and we don't do a damn thing about it. Yep, because we want to be the better people. Don't we? I don't know if it's because of religion or what. And I don't think all people on the right side, let's say, not necessarily Republicans, but conservatives as a group, always want to be the bigger person. Always want to, we look at people that go out and protest and riot and do these things as communist, or insert bad name of them here, Antifa, losers, jerks. They probably live in their mom's basement, stuff like that. But if you think about it, They're getting shit done. Whether you agree with the way they're doing it or not, they're actually accomplishing what they want to accomplish because they don't have to worry about being on the right side because they're in their head the ends justify the means. Right? For us, we want to play fair. We want to play by the rules and we want to win. Meanwhile, they're not playing by the rules, and if you believe that last year's election was not 100% honest, not saying I do or not, but if you don't think it was, then how are you going to play by the rules going forward? Do you understand? Like, this is one of the things that I get so upset about, because if they did that in November of 2020, then there's no way, in my view, to win by playing by the rules. They're going after the rules, they're breaking the rules, and if they have their way, and they have no reason to stop or give a shit about how they're doing things, they're going to continue, and we're going to railroad us over even more. Rules are for quitters. And as a Christian myself, yeah, I mean, I want to play by the rules too, but at some point, you got to go to work. Like, what is the breaking point? I really, truly believe, like, all the people out there, like, yeah, we need to rise up and take shit back. All order followers, including myself. Nobody wants to be the one guy that goes out and does some shit and then is labeled, insert label here. Nobody wants to be that guy. So we all want to do it at the same time. But then we're worried about the people next to us that we're not really sure. Well, they might be an insurgents. They might be Antifa for all I know. I don't want to associate with people I don't know. Right? Because then I could be seen as part... I don't know, the Proud Boys might show up and they're, 3 blocks away and you don't know that they're there, but now that they're there, everybody there is a Proud Boy. And you don't want to be associated with the Proud Boys for whatever reason, right? So everybody's worried about how they're going to be looked at. Pretty over all the bullshit, just want to live my life, not worry about all the fucked up bullshit. Well, that's when you put the sheet over your head again, put your head back in the sand, right? You just stop watching the news, stop giving a shit, and just move on and live your life. And that seems great. It does seem great. But the shit is still going on in the background. They're not going to stop. So what's it going to take? What is it going to take for people not to be waiting for somebody in charge to say it's okay? Because I really do think that if a state did secede, if that were to happen, then if that state asked the people in that state to get arms and bring them to the town square, because we're all going to be part of the militia, whatever state that seceded, then you would see people getting off their ass, picking up their arms, and doing what they're told, because we all want to be order followers. I'm fixing to greased. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Am I fixing to greased? Question marks. Are you talking about Greece as far as the country? Or, yeah. Okay. So apparently Nancy Pelosi might retire, but here is the big win in Virginia. So congratulations, OMG. I never thought it would happen, but that's cool.
If you don't know this, Virginia has been a nasty hotbed thanks to several issues over the last couple years. And we've been watching it very closely. Now, remember, Northam did not get voted out. In Virginia, you only serve one term. New governor elect as of today, Governor Glenn Youngkin. And he is...
Wait, you only serve one term as governor in Virginia? You can't get reelected, not even once? How long has that rule been in place? I'm sure it's probably been quite a while, but in Arizona, I believe you get 2 terms, and then you're supposed to not run. And in some states, it's indefinite, I think. Yeah, interesting.
In, and the other one that's really exciting that people are really excited about on social media today.
Let me rewind a
is
little bit.
Winsome.
Okay.
And he is in. Did not get voted out. In Virginia, you only serve 1 term.
That's weird.
New governor elect as of today, Governor Glenn Youngkin, and he is in. And the other one that's really exciting that people are really excited about on social media
Good
today
for him.
is Winsome Sears coming in as the new lieutenant governor elect. And she's kind of a little bit stolen the thunder today, and it's been kind of cool. A lot of folks are talking about her. This is from Benny Johnson. He says this: meet Winsome Sears, Virginia's new lieutenant governor. She is a black woman who immigrated from Jamaica, served in the Marines, has a master's degree,
Oh, wow.
ran a women's homeless shelter, raised 3 kids, and now she has made history. So
Wow.
that's kind of exciting. And y'all saw that other picture of her holding the
Wow.
award that people have been very excited about as well.
Did they
So
have
that's
any
super interesting.
anti-her
Things going on.
campaigns going on, I wonder? I'd like to see the attack ads on her. I
all
doubt
the
they're
nonsense that
very
Northam
good.
pushed through in the last year, Governor Blackface, or the last 2 years that he pushed through. We'll see. I did some research. It's really hard to find that much information on Youngkin's actual 2A stance. I know he's pro, but there's not a lot out there. In fact, there's some that were talking about how quiet he was on the campaign about it.
Yeah. He's
We'll
trying to
see.
make sure he
Certainly,
didn't ruffle any
certainly better
feathers.
than the alternative.
So we have no
So
idea
big news out of Virginia. I think it's
how
kind of cool.
gun-friendly he is.
Speaking of Virginia, Kamala
Or
said
if he likes
this
Trump.
recently. What happens in VA or in Virginia will in large part determine what happens in 2022, 2024, and on.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, Kamala. It does. It's kind of fun to watch. All right, let's move on. Got several.
Okay.
Then we're gonna get to this whole thing about Nancy Pelosi. Woo, woo, woo! Got double notes going on here. All right, 3 quick ones, and we'll do the other one. In New Jersey, I don't know. Like, I'm watching it. We still don't know as of today. I'm filming this a Wednesday afternoon. DC Drano says today that it's rigged, and I thought that was a really interesting comment. I haven't seen anything else on it. I did see one guy that said, let's just do a total, let's go through all of the election results for New Jersey and Virginia. Got nothing to hide.
How does he not
Happy to
get
go do
strikes?
that and go through
Did
all
he
of
just
it.
call
double-check
that
all the
rigged?
numbers. That's out of New Jersey we're watching. All right, the other big
Wow.
one today,
I need more
SCOTUS, the
subscribers.
Supreme Court, they are reviewing a pretty important 2A case, and we don't know anything yet. There's nothing's been said. We don't know a thing. I hope to be back tomorrow if the creek doesn't rise to talk about that, but I do know and I am aware about what's going on. A couple people said, Johnny, are you watching Supreme Court today? Why, yes, I am. Not a lot to watch, but it's... I am paying
Supposedly
attention.
they're going
Also,
against
I'm
the
watching
Second
the Kenosha
Amendment,
Kid,
or
that
talking
trial's
about
going on, and it's
we know about
underway.
that.
We're watching. We're watching.
Come on, let's talk about Nancy
Quoted
Pelosi.
on the Winsome Sears. This is from Benny Johnson. Holy smokes, we'll see. Holy poop, guys. Calls with members of Congress and Hill contacts this AM about Democratic mood/strategy. 3 takeaways. 1, get ready for an avalanche of Dem retirements, starting with Pelosi.
That would be kind of neat.
Number 2,
She'll probably
Biden
run in
agenda dead,
2024.
no way forward, kaput. It feels like Spicy Friday. 3, members calling McCarthy Mr. Speaker now. How interesting is that? Like that's a good source. It's a good source. It's a good source that he's saying an avalanche of retirements and that McCarthy is coming in. I've also heard today, separate source, separate issues, that there's a lot of folks saying that you can already write it down that Kamala and Biden, neither one are going to be on the ticket coming up in the next election. So that's
What?
interesting as well. Holy smokes, what about that Benny Johnson tweet?
No. Are you kidding me? Is he saying that Biden and Kamala both aren't going to run for re-election? Has that ever happened? I'm sure it probably has. Has that ever happened where a president didn't seek a re-election?
Saying that you can already write it down that Kamala and Biden, neither one are going to be on the ticket coming up in the next election. So that's interesting as well.
Wow.
Holy smokes, what about that Benny Johnson tweet?
Interesting. All right, let me do this one since we're talking a little bit about Virginia. Vice President Yeah, that's nice. Look at that. It's all nicely zoomed in. You can see everything. That's great. You don't have the ads as much on the side. Vice President Harris boldly predicted last week that Virginia's special election would be a bellwether for upcoming elections. Unfortunately for the smug VP, the election did not turn out so well for her party in Virginia. It looks as the Republicans are set to sweep Virginia in a massive turn of events, and despite the state's new mail-in voting implementation, political analysts are now predicting a red wave in 2022 and possibly even the 2024 election. Maybe that's why. Maybe they're worried that Trump's going to run in 2024, therefore they're not going to have Biden continuing on. Because if it's Biden versus Trump, I don't know. Interesting. What do you guys' opinion on that? Why would President Biden and Vice President Harris not try to run for the president in 2024? What would be the motive for not even attempting a re-election campaign? I understand they just wanted to get Trump out any means necessary. But to not run for a re-election, you better have something better. I think it's probably an 80-20%. 80% likely that he'll run, 20% maybe not. Should we start getting betting odds on this thing? It's legal now in Arizona. I don't know about where you guys are. Before the GOP dulge hit, an uninspired Harris tried to work the crowd into a frenzy, delivering a vague and remarkably unremarkable speech. Well, then it's par for the course. So listen, 4 days to go, she said. Tomorrow is a very important day, and the days leading up to Tuesday are very important days, and Tuesday is a critical day that will determine whether either turn back the clock or move it forward. Oh, daylight savings time, I got it. Having a vision and knowing what can be unburdened by what has been having the ability to have a governor of this beautiful Commonwealth of Virginia who understands the people, she rambled, who has always been a fighter for the people, who has been experienced to represent the people, who has courage to fight the fight for the people and the benefit of this beautiful state. You're going to bring this home, right? Yes, you are, she added. No, they're not. Encouraging the audience to maintain its enthusiasm for the embattled Terry McAuliffe. Harris then optimistically worked into a prediction that Virginia's election would be a bellwether for upcoming elections. What happens in Virginia will in large part determine what happens in 2022, 2024, and on, she said. But despite a Biden-Harris victory in the state only a year ago, it now appears that the Veep's stab at soothsaying has backfired. I'd say so. And this is interesting. Ooh, you guys blew me up a little bit. You like her. Yeah, I liked her too. The other lady in Virginia. I'd like to actually see some attack ads against her. What was her name? Let me see. Did he talk about it? I think he did, right? Winsome Sears.
Winsome Sears.
Yeah. Who ran against her? Do we know? Let's see. I'm surprised by that. 2 terms. Yeah, that's interesting. I like that actually, Gerald. That's cool. Here it's 2 terms and then skip a term and get one more. Total of 3. And Gerald says that you get not Gerald. Was it OMG? Yeah. So you get 1 term in Virginia and then you can run the next time. That's kind of cool. I like that because I don't know if there's a limit on how many times you can be governor doing that. But, you know, you have to take a time out. People have to remember if you were good or not. It would have been hate speech to attack her. She's black female. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking. Hate speech. She would have been like, you want to get some, get some. She would have gone full gunner mode. She looks like a badass. I mean, let's see. Is this the actual ad? Oh, it's a news story.
Turning to politics, the woman who won Virginia's GOP.
Let's see, hate speech, she would, okay. Truly believe people with enough subs have content creator contact person have less. Yeah, they do. I know for a fact they do. It's been a disaster. They ain't going to risk it. Biden said he was one term during his campaign. Yeah, I mean, but he said a lot of things during his campaign. I would rather have someone besides Trump. That's just me, though. I'm not a Trump fan. I would love to have somebody better than Trump, to be honest. But there is quite a big part of me who just wants to see the show. You know what I mean? I always hated Trump's hair. I don't give a shit about anybody's hair. Trump is a liar, just like any other politician, and weak as hell. Clinton's not in jail. Yeah, I know. The whole locker up. Oh boy, I tell you what, that pissed me off after a while. Last time McCall was governor of Virginia, the power company paid for his campaign finances, and our power bills almost doubled, and the power company made record profits. Wow. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I want DeSantis to run for president and Trump to be his VP. I don't think Trump can be anybody's VP, but it'd be interesting. Abbott would be a cool president, I think. Ish, maybe. That way we get more focused president than Trump, but it still stings for the Democrats having him as VP. Just have him as an advisor or somebody in the cabinet. 37% of all voters in this state should be run out of the country. We can't do that. You gotta, that's the thing about playing by the rules and believing in a fair shake. Right? The left don't care about no fair shake. They think the whole system is rigged against them anyway, so they're not going to follow the rules. I would like us, as an idea to, I don't know, I still like playing by the rules, but still, at some point you can't allow that stuff to happen. Anyway, I'm not going to go too far on that. All right, Kavanaugh might quash Texas abortion case to keep leftists from using the same tactics. According to Amy Howe, Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh openly worried during oral arguments Monday that part of the recently passed Texas Heartbeat Act can easily be replicated in other states to target gun rights, free speech, or religious rights. I can see that. Some took it as an indication that the case, one of two that pro-life advocates are hoping might finally end a half a century of legalized abortion in the U.S., might suffer the same fate as the past challenges to the controversial legal precedent first established under Roe v. Wade. That may depend largely on whether fellow junior Justice Amy Coney Barrett, a devout Catholic with a long record of supporting pro-life issues prior to her confirmation to the high court, continues her recent residency in the ideological center alongside Kavanaugh and John Roberts. Normally, it's hard to read justices, but Kavanaugh's statements here led me to think Texas law gambit is in serious trouble. He's picking up on Breyer and Kagan's points about the evasion of constitutional right enforcement. The justice focused not only on the law conflicts with Roe and Planned Parenthood v. Cassie, but rather on the law's unusual enforcement mechanism, which allows anyone, including people who do not live in Texas, to bring a lawsuit in state court against anyone who performs an abortion and helps make one possible. USA Today reported that Kavanaugh pressed attorneys for Texas on why other states wouldn't copy the same enforcement mechanism in other contexts, and whether the Second Amendment rights, free exercise of religion rights, free speech rights, could be targeted by other states. It's pretty smart. Left-wing pundits on MSNBC and CNN praised Kavanaugh's line of inquiry, with disgraced legal commentator Jeffrey Toobin calling it very important. Is it Jeffrey Toobin? That's the guy that on camera, right? However, Tom Fitton, president of the conservative Judicial Watch, warned that Justices Kavanaugh and Barrett seem ready to upend our constitutional system, including over a century of legal precedent, to help abortionists in Texas. Not everyone on the right was vexed by Kavanaugh's latest deflection. At the libertarian-leaning Volok conspiracy blog, Isla Soman, a professor at George Mason University, argued that Kavanaugh's line of inquiry was concerned with preventing government overreach. In fact, he said it was great news for anyone who values judicial protection of constitutional rights, even if you are no fan. Even if you're no fan of Roe v. Wade and other Supreme Court precedents protecting abortion. According to Salmon, what is really at stake in these cases is whether states can use delegation to private litigants as a tool to shield laws threatening constitutional rights from judicial review. Fortunately, he added, it looks like the majority of justices are intent on forestalling that dangerous scenario. Wow, I thought I was going to be pissed at Kavanaugh, and I am less pissed than I thought I was going to be at the start of that story. For press. Appreciate it, OMG, I do. I don't know. I get frustrated with too much shit coming at me at one time, so somebody'd probably get nuked. Oh, Nancy Pelosi has done pissed me off for the last gosh darn time. How do you think they get chicken nuggets? Oh, 37% is probably the bunch of youngkins who think the food comes from McDonald's. Chickens don't like giving them up? No, not usually. Hands off my nugs. Hashtag. They had it up for a vote on if you can have farm animals on gardens to grow your own veggies. Really? If you can have farm animals or gardens to grow your own veggies. Where is this, Gerald B? Like, seriously, is this a state thing? Like, you can't even have a garden in your home or at your place unless the law says it's okay? See, this is the kind of shit, I like to be a rule. I like to play by the rules, but that's ridiculous. If you're going to make it so I can't have a garden, even on a quarter-acre plot of land, that's some bullshit. The farm animals on a small rural area depends on the animal. I know chickens are allowed in residential areas, but I mean, yeah, I'm not going to get like cattle on my little quarter acre. Well, yeah, you can write anybody in riddle. Areas that don't allow rainwater collection is also, yeah. There are some states or counties where you're not allowed to catch rainwater. And they give some bullshit about the environment and yada yada. They had that on the ticket. They had it on the ticket yesterday. Wow. I hope it didn't pass. This was almost my top story. If I could have found a meme where it said, "Oops, I'm sorry, I accidentally raped you." If I could have found a meme like that, I probably would have used this as the top story. But the mother of the rapist is saying it was an accident. The boy's mother also claimed that the victim should have fought back harder in response to the rape. Wow. It's your fault. You should have fought back harder. According to the mother of the accused London County rapist, her son assaulted a girl in the high school bathroom by accident. Sparing the graphic details of the case, which have been widely reported elsewhere, the boy's mother attempted to defend him from two factual claims. First, that he is a transgendered. Second, that he is a rapist. Her 15-year-old son, a professed pansexual, dressed as a female, then raped a female classmate in the girls' bathroom of the school. According to his mother, his exploration of sexual identity was only an attempt to find himself, which involved all kinds of styles, like wearing a skirt one day and jeans and t-shirt the next. Find yourself. She defended him on the grounds that he is a relatively normal teenage boy. Well, you should look past the rape then. He's a 15-year-old boy that wanted to have sex in the bathroom with somebody that was willing, she said, before claiming that her son's deviant behavior was being politicized. They are just twisting this just enough to make it a political hot-button issue, she suggested. The boy's mother also claimed that the victim should have fought back harder in response to the rape. If I was in a position where I was about to be raped, I would be screaming, kicking, everything, she said. You're 15. You can reasonably defend yourself. Somebody needs to aerate that kid. Maybe. In defense only. You're not just going to sit there and take it, she said. And so because there wasn't a presence of a fight, he felt it was okay to keep going. The story exploded when the father of the rape victim, Scott Smith, was thrown out of a school board meeting after the board denied that the rape had taken place. This prompted Democrats to double down on their claims the parents should have no input as their children's education, branding parents who care as domestic terrorists. Boy, I hope y'all have your kids in a good school. Makes me worried because there's a lot of things at schools that go on without your knowing. I know I had a kid in the school system, and I'd found out about a few things back in the day and was upset. What's up, Bikes and Bullets? Finally finished your video. It took me a little bit. Sorry about that. I will put a video together for you, Bikes. It won't be as long. Probably. Well, I mean, I'll throw in some other stuff, I guess. Might as well. Lengthen the video up a little bit. Let's see. People should always be able to grow, forage, collect what they need for survival. Yeah, I think I agree. Victim blaming. What a yeah. It lost, but still 37% of the voters. It's scary that they had that many votes. It is. I'm glad it failed, though, Gerald. That mother should also be charged with accessory. That'd be hard to prove. Sadly, this is something I have observed, keep track of, and noted within the last 20 years. Victim shaming is actually a thing. This happened in Virginia, did it? How do you pronounce it then? Is it London? Loudoun? Maybe Loudoun? Loudon? I feel like if it happened to any daughters of this channel viewers, that kid wouldn't have made it. Well, people don't want to go to jail, although when it's your daughter, isn't he like a service member too, I think? I feel like if it happened to any, okay. Mine are homeschooled. The school, Loudon. Okay. Yeah, I can remember that, Loudon. Mine are homeschooled. The schools are the root problem in this country. I agree. That's where you get indoctrinated. And they're indoctrinating no matter what. Now, you might agree with the indoctrination your children are getting. Like, let's say you got a great school. It's very conservative. It's very patriotic. They're still indoctrinating your children. You might be okay with that type of indoctrination. There might be some parts that you might not know about that you wouldn't be okay with, but the vast majority outweighs the small little bit that, you know, you're going to have to reteach your child. I get it. But homeschooled, especially nowadays with homeschooling, it's so easy. You know, you got a laptop. Most of their classes are online anyway. You can be there as much as you want to be there or are able to be there. So, yeah. Oh, good. You watched that share video. Now I can delete it. Yeah. I did it as this channel. So, I also just maxed out my microphone. Hold on. Okay. Let me just turn myself down a little bit. I think you know that it's true. The Commonwealth attorney for the county wanted to charge the father with just disorderly conduct maybe, and make him spend time in jail because of his actions at the school board meeting just for bringing it up. Wow. I don't want to get a drink for making threats again. A dink.
Yeah, I already got put in YouTube jail for making threats.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. Well, tell us, Riddle. What did you do? What kind of threat did you make?
I just said that people like Biden are stupid and, you know, that they should be strung up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you gotta watch your words.
Yeah.
People take it literally. Pennsylvania Republicans stave off effort by Obama holder to flip state Supreme Court seat. Markey wins by Republicans in Virginia deservedly grabbed most media attention on Tuesday, but a down-ballot GOP victory in Pennsylvania may carry equal importance as radical leftists wage an all-out war on democracy. In a state mired in Democratic... okay, this is an opinion piece. Judge Kevin Brobson secured a seat on Pennsylvania's Supreme Court by defeating Marcia McLaughlin in a race targeted by the likes of former Attorney General Eric Holder and former President Barack Obama. Brobson will replace incumbent Justice Tom Saylor, a Republican who had reached the mandatory retirement age. While Democrats for now will retain a 5-2 majority on the court, GOP leaders are hopeful that they can be backed in striking distance by 2027, according to a press release by the Republican State Leadership Committee. A 5-2 majority, yeah, that's a pretty good majority. Brobson victory, along with GOP's sweep of Pennsylvania appears court races bodes well for prospects of eventually regaining judicial competence that has been sorely missing in the Keystone State. He joins a court that was parcel of a cabal that last year enabled Democratic Governor Tom Wolf, State Attorney General Josh Shapiro, and disgraced former Secretary of State Casey Brockvar to defy the state's Republican legislator and the will of the electorate in changing election procedures under auspices of a pandemic emergency orders. The motley crew, empowered by the leftist court, paved the way for accepting mail-in ballots, even ones without postmarks and without signature matches, well after Election Day. The move ran contrary to state constitution and allowed Democrats to continue counting ballots for Biden, even eventually finding enough to give him the win and defeat President Trump. The state Supreme Court dismissed a request to declare the mail-in voting unconstitutional. But by holding the line, Brobson's win can be chipping away at that type of gross corruption and judicial malfeasance, and can pave the way for restoring a sound semblance of democracy, said Andrew Wayne. I don't know about that. Seems like you got a long way to go. Despite the onslaught of the headlines we saw at the beginning of the year that Pennsylvania Republicans were too divided to win statewide following the 2020 election, Judge Brobson ran an outstanding campaign and proved the doubters wrong. All right. This was on the Discord. Story suggestions. By the way, if you guys hear a story throughout the day, hit me up in the Discord, and I'll get to it if I can. And we have a few minutes so we can do this. A victim's body that was supposed to be used for medical research was dissected in front of a live audience in a hotel bathroom without the family's consent. Interesting. 98-year-old David Saunders. 98-year-old victim's body was dissected in front of a paid... Actually, let me zoom in on this. Here we go. Was dissected in the front of a paying audience in Portland, Oregon, hotel's ballroom without the family's consent, according to King 5 News investigations. Mike Clark, a funeral director in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, told King 5 News that the body of the 98-year-old David Saunders had been given to a private Las Vegas-based company called Med-Ed Labs, with the exception that it would be used for medical research. Clark said the family instead learned that the body was dissected at a $500 a ticket event at a Portland Marriott on October 17th, though a King 5 News investigation into the public dissection event. The dissection was organized by a group called Death Science, which has more than 1 million followers on TikTok, and says on its website that it educates people on scientific fields and topics that are related to the deceased. So just so you know, if you're thinking about donating a loved one's body or your own to science, there's all sorts of science that they can do. An event page for the Portland dissection says Death Science medical professionals would guide guests through the dissection and would allow viewers to get an up-close and personal look at the cadaver. The administrator with Med-Ed Labs told King 5 News that the company had sold Saunders' corpse to Death Science founder Jeremy Solibrio, though the administrator said he could not explain why the company had given Death Labs a body infected with the sniffles. Because I don't think people care. Isn't this supposed to be super catchy? Aren't aren't you supposed to catch it super easy? And then if you do catch it, you're very at risk of dying from it? Because, I mean, I see used mask laying everywhere. If it's that bad of an outbreak and we have to do these social distancing, we have to do all these other things, don't you think that the CDC should have like teams of crews out cleaning the streets, making sure that all these masks are disposed of properly? Wouldn't that be considered medical waste and a danger? No, people reuse their mask. They make homemade ones. It's just theater. It's safety theater. You're doing something. You're practicing your social distancing, and you wear your mask even when you're driving by yourself. You never go outside of the house without your mask on, because I have control of my own life. Celebrio told King 5 News that MedEd Labs was aware of his plans to dissect the body at a public event. Clark, meanwhile, told King 5 that his funeral home would no longer work with MedEd Labs and that his staff was horrified with what happened. It makes me really feel saddened that this gentleman was not given the dignity and the respect that he deserves, and what he thought and his family thought what would be happening to his body. Clark and Celebrio did not immediately respond to requests for comment from Insider. And then the Alec Baldwin. Let's see. Yeah, I can zoom in on this too. I wish this top part would go away though. I suppose that's good. Shooting disgruntled Rust worker planted live round as sabotage, Armor's lawyer claims. Anna Gutierrez Reed looked after guns on set and loaded the weapon, but her lawyers claim that there may have been a sabotage attempt. Well, it wouldn't be an attempt if they actually did it. Attorneys for Rust Armor Hannah Reed have said that they believe live bullets were mixed in with dummy rounds as part of a deliberate attempt to sabotage filming. Her lawyer, Jason Bowles, told today sensationally claimed that he and others had assumed somebody had put a live bullet in the box of dummy rounds. The central question to this case is, how did a live round get on set and who put that on set? Attorney Mr. Bowles asked in appearance. There was a box of dummy rounds that contains only dummy rounds, hand-loaded rounds from that box into the handgun. Mrs. Reed, who looked after all guns during the filming of the indie western, has come under intense scrutiny as she was responsible for loading the weapon prior to the fatal shooting. Cinematographer Hutchins was fatally shot by Alec Baldwin as he rehearsed the scene that saw him fire a gun at the camera, while director Joel Souza was also wounded. Mr. Bowles continued, "We are assuming somebody put a live round in that box. If you think about that, the person who put the live round in the box of dummy rounds had to have the purpose of sabotaging the set. There's no other reason that you would do that, that you would mix that live round with a dummy round." Mr. Bowles noted that the crew members had walked off the set the day before amid a dispute over working conditions. Yes, they said it was an unsafe set. We had heard about that before. Those people maybe wanted to validate their claims of it being an unsafe set. Once again, sometimes people don't give a shit about playing by the rules. Let's say this is actually true, that one of these people who were protesting the dangerous conditions on the set decided to ramp it up because they weren't getting noticed. How do you get noticed if there's a dangerous set and you want to get noticed? Well, I'll just put a live round in with the dummy rounds, and that'll get us noticed. If that happened, wow. Ahead of the 21st October shooting, Mr. Baldwin had been handed the gun by Assistant Director Dave Halls, who announced it was a Colt gun. He passed him the weapon after carrying out a safety check with Mrs. Reed. An affidavit filed in Santa Fe County Magistrate Court last week revealed that Mr. Halls had told investigators the gun safety check may not have been carried out properly. He said that prior to the shooting incident, Mrs. Reed had showed him the weapon and that he could only remember seeing 3 rounds. According to the affidavit, he advised he should have checked all of them, but didn't, and couldn't recall if he spun the drum to confirm there were no live bullets. How do you spin the drum to make sure they're not live? Does anybody know that? I'm going to pause it right there and read chat while you guys tell me. How do you spin a revolver to show that they're not live rounds? If it were really that bad, you are 100% correct. Hold on. Yeah. It's a joke. That's what it is. A bad one. Why wear a mask and not require eye protection? Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about that. Yeah. Aerosol part. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people. Today, while we were out, there was a guy riding a bike. He had a mask on with the filters. Riding a bike in a spandex. He's got like a legit mask with filters. No eye protection. No glasses. Nothing. Right? Eyes are 100% exposed. Find it hilarious. Yeah. Goes in eyes. We learned this in growing up in school, did we not? Goes in your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears, any orifice that you have. I guess you don't really get it in your butt because, you know, it must be the underwear and the pants that are the same material as a mask. So if you just mask your entire body, maybe that'd be better. I guess they don't dry fire their dummy rounds before aiming at people. Yeah. How about you take them out? There was three rounds in there. Wouldn't you look at each one of them, put it back in? All right, that's dummy. That's dummy. And the only reason you need a dummy round, you would probably need a dummy round for that because you got the gun pointed straight at the camera and it's a revolver, so you're going to be able to see rounds in the chamber, right? Or you want to see rounds in the chamber if it was you were actually shooting, but it's rehearsed. It's rehearsed. So technically, even extra safe, don't even put the dummy rounds in during a rehearsal. Spin the drum to make sure they're dummy rounds. Dummy rounds are intended to look similar to live rounds, though they should be distinguishable during safety checks. Yeah, the head stamp could be plastic of a bright pink or something. Mr. Halls and Mrs. Reed have both faced questions over their actions on the set, with reports that crew had previously raised concern about lax gun safety. It was only the second film that Mrs. Reed had worked on, while it has emerged that Mr. Halls has previously fired from the 2019 Freedom Path after a crew member was wounded in another firearm accident. That's not good. The Wrap reported last month that crew members on Rust had allegedly passed time between filming by shooting at beer cans using guns from the set. Guns are fun. See, they don't get a shoot at home. Prosecutors have not ruled out criminal charges over the shooting as investigations into the incident continue. Mr. Baldwin, who has been the producer on the film, on Tuesday shared a post from Rust crew member that described reports of unsafe, chaotic conditions on set as bullshit. The post from costume designer Teresa Davis said the accidental discharges are more common than you think. Mrs. David insisted that Mrs. Reed had qualifications typical of an indie shoot and said that Mr. Halls was never flippant about safety, though she alleged he screwed up majorly due to the stress of a union dispute. Sure. What's up, Zudak? Didn't say hello, even though I read your comment. Anonymous, how you doing? Proves it's all theater. Exactly. It's just something to do to make you feel better. We all want to have that control, right? Some of the people's biggest fears in life is losing control. Think about it. You're scared to fly because you think the plane's going to go down. If the plane's going down, what are you going to do about it? Not a damn thing. You're just going to sit there and wait for it to happen. Same thing on a roller coaster, right? There are people that won't go on certain rides or planes or forms of travel because they want to be in control. A lot of people that are scared of flying have no problem with driving. And driving is much more dangerous than flying. But while driving, they have control, at least of their vehicle. They don't realize they don't have control of everybody else's, but that's what it is. So everybody wants to be able to have some sort of control. And when this all happened, it was the same thing. What do we do? What do we do? We have to be able to do something about this to make it better. We can't just sit around. So that's what we got now. Mask, social distancing, stuff that's not even science, in my opinion. And you get in trouble if you question it. All these years growing up, told to wash your hands. If you don't want to get sick, make sure you wash your hands. Don't touch your face with your hands. Wash often. Never, ever did I hear of social distancing or putting a piece of cloth over your face. Not to mention, like, we all seen people vape in them, and I've done it on stream before. Those are water particles you can see, let alone the ones that you can't. So, but it makes them feel better, don't it? There you go. John Schneider posted a video saying that they're supposed to dry fire all rounds before giving it to an actor. And the actor is supposed to dry fire all rounds again. I do like John Schneider. Are we talking about Bo Duke? I think it's Bo Duke. Right? He's got a cool YouTube channel. I watch it. Check for primer. Yeah, you could do primers. Right? There's a lot of ways that could be made safer. This is the problem, though. Since they're so anti-gun, can you imagine if all actors were pro 2A? Right? First of all, that'd be amazing. It used to be the case. I bet you there was a lot less accidents back in the day. Although I don't know. Maybe there was the same. Maybe there was more. Who knows? But if the people actually were into firearms and gave a shit, they'd all be checking it most likely. Most likely. Or at least enough of them would be. You're always going to have that one guy who you're like, wave it around and shit. You know. No, it's just they know it's all bullshit. And when they think nobody is watching, the veil falls and we see their bullshit. Yeah, what was it? There was a story. I didn't do it. Yeah, Don Lemon, seen maskless in Florida after slamming DeSantis policies. I just figured it was another bullshit thing, but it is. So this guy is basically saying if you don't play by their rules, if you go around without one of those things and you don't believe in getting your jab, that you're the problem. Meanwhile, do as I say, not as I do. Yeah. So there you go.
I want to thank you.
He's like a big marketing guy.
I want to thank, Don Lemon, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, it's Halloween today, right? Don Lemon. That's
Is that his
okay.
husband?
Well, I want to thank you.
His white husband?
No, thank you so much. And you're in the great state of Florida. I hope you guys enjoy it. You can enjoy it. Thank you for exposing everything.
She trolling his ass.
Because we love you in Florida.
That's hilarious. Okay, I'm glad I watched that. Whoops. Hitting all sorts of wrong buttons tonight. Anyway, that's going to be all the stories that I have for you. We're only a little bit over, so thank you very much for checking us out. We will be back here until we can. Make sure you're part of the Discord or the email alert system that we have. If you need to be part of that, well, you can find the Discord in the links down below of all the places to follow me. And you're wanting the room Where's Stinger. And I think that one is a special permissions room. So let me know that you want that and we'll get you hooked up. But we'll stay on this channel until we either get a warning or a strike, probably a strike. And then we'll move on somewhere else. Can't stop the signal. Tim Pool got the sick and Joe Rogan's treatment. Tim Pool got the sick and the Joe Rogan treatment. Not sure how you find a doc to give you that treatment, but if you find one, you probably have a good doctor. Really? Is that stuff that they're giving out in Florida? I forget what it's called, but weren't they saying it was like a horse medication? I know hydroxychloroquine or whatever that is was in the news, but I haven't heard of that in the news in a long time. Human practical application, the lack thereof, is the biggest issue when people describe, report, tell, narrative, witness, and articulate when any incident occurs, such as that video I made. Ooh. You got some deep shit here. Hold on, I gotta reread it. I'm not too smart. Practical application, and the lack thereof, is the biggest issue when people describe, report, tell, narrate, witness, and articulate when an incident occurred, such as that video. All right. Well, I gotta get work on. Baldwin, the assistant director, and the armor need to show. Yeah, they should have both checked. And I still don't think that they should have had any even dummy rounds in on a test shoot. You're just trying to line it up. Are you even recording? You might have been, actually, to be honest. Who knows? Anyway, check out all the links down below. They're the same links as they were yesterday. There's nothing new in them. What's up, Irish? I'm glad you got here. I like it. Irish got his mask on. Right? We have all the causes I believe in and support. We got all the affiliate links if you want to do that. Some of them are pretty cool. I really do like a few of those. And the pickle pebbles and the pickle pipes are on the Amazon link list. So if you're thinking about fermenting vegetables or anything like that, I highly suggest that. Reminds me, Irish should have those honey garlic, or the fermented garlic in honey. That should be done pretty soon. Hit me up, dude, when you try that. I definitely want to know what you think about it. And try it. I would try a piece raw. I would try it in a recipe like a Chinese dish or something that's supposed to have a sweet garlic to it. You know, and let me know what you think. And then obviously if you get sick or somebody in the family gets sick, I want to know how it works out for you. And unfortunately, Irish is not going to be able to do the morning muster. I learned about that yesterday, shortly after I got done with the evening catch-up. He's got some family issues I'm not going to talk about, but he will get back to the muster, I'm sure, as soon as he is able. Irish, stop strapping used pads to your face. There you go. All right, guys, thank you very much. All the descriptions down below, you know to check them out. Get your jab. I'm working on it, man. I'll get around to it as soon as I can. I swear. I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, make sure to keep your family close. Watch out for that government. Try to live as free as you can in the tyrannical world. And I don't know. Stay real. Peace.